truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your host, JohnAge. Happy to be back with you once again in the not-so-wee hours of the PM. Hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the Old North State, I will be your tour guide this afternoon as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. Thanks for being with us, folks. Can't say it enough. Can't underscore it. Bastante. Thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for tuning in. I realize it's been a couple of days here. I don't know when I last did this show. I think about a week ago, something like that. But yeah, it's been a while. So here I am, and there you are. So thanks for tuning in. Please check out the AnomicAge. If you've not already done so, please like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions, paypal.me/AnomicAge, patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. Like all the likes, subscribe to all those subscriptions. If you can do no more, please consider becoming a patron. iPhone app, Android app, subscribe by email, link, and so much more right there at AnomicAge.com. Got to buy me a cup of coffee in the Kash app down there if you are so inclined. You can do that too, if that's what you wanted to. So, we got so much to get into this afternoon. I don't know how I'm going to encompass all this stuff into one show, but I shall try. So, title of today's episode, come on, get up there. There we go. Title of today's episode is Lies Fatigue. Lies Fatigue. It's all lies, folks. It really is. And there's been so much hoopla over the last couple weeks with what the, I don't know who's coining these terms, but it's funny. Black fatigue. Black fatigue is everywhere. Oh, it's such a new thing. We never knew black fatigue before, right? Anyway, so that's the newest talking point du jour is black fatigue. And social media is doing all their usual suspects parts to make it exacerbated, because they're showing all these giblet head, lowbrow, room temp IQ people at various graduations. These various black folk that are just dancing and looking like complete morons, and making everyone, not just the black variety, but I'd say everyone, look like complete buffoons. That would be, who's dumber, as the great John B. Wells used to say. He still does, I'm sure. Who's dumber, the fool or the fool that follows the fool? Well, I would probably suggest it's the fool that follows the fool, because any moron can pull like a one-off thing, but then when it becomes some sort of moment in time that everyone has to replicate. I remember this a few years back where they were doing this completely asinine nonsense of the ice bucket challenge, and then there was the Tide Pod morons, and right, left, and center. It's just idiots replicating idiocy. That's really what it boils down to. So, the black fatigue thing's nothing new. It's just people are just tired of stupidity, folks. People are tired of the nonsense. If you want to get hardcore and specific on the black-white thing, I would suggest to you that a whole lot of people, not just the whites, not just blancos, no, I think a whole lot of people in between and otherwise are just tired of the mess. They're tired of the tomfoolery. I think whites specifically are getting a little bit sick of getting blamed for everything, from the Ice Age, the sinking of the Lusitania, to fill in the blank, they're getting a little bit tired of it. So, yeah, I would suggest there is a lot of fatigue going on. But, again, that's been exacerbated by the media, the social media, the mainstream media, and, of course, the K through 12 indoctrination, college, university weaponization, which has been pulling this narrative train for at least 60 years now. Slavery, 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 reparations, civil rights, everybody's discriminated against and looked down upon, and I think everybody's just a little bit tired of it. So, yeah, I do believe there's a lot of fatigue on that side of the track. Yeah, because people are sick of getting the blame for everything, not getting credit for everything, and still saying you just ain't doing enough. You just ain't doing enough. People are sick of it. And then there's the protected class wordplay, whereas this really just appeared, I would say, in the last 30 years, where there's a magical word, that no one can say except a specific protected class. No one can utter the magical word. Oh, goodness. And then if anyone hears the word or thinks they heard the word, they get to just go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, rape, murder, kill, pillage, destroy anything under the books, under the guise and auspice of we heard some magical word. What a joke. I'm going to do a whole show on self-control. That's one of the hilarities lacking in our society, and it's never mentioned. It's always sort of masqueraded as this, that, and the other thing, but I would suggest to you that self-control, folks. Again, it's the fool or the fool who follows the fool. Are you stupid enough to get triggered by a special word and go to prison or kill, rape, murder, pillage, and the like? Or do you have any self-control? It's just stupid, folks. It's all stupid. There should be no magical words that evoke such spookiness. There should be no words that one person can say and the other person can't say. There's no words that triggers insanity and all this mess. So if you want to know fatigue, yeah, I think everybody's just had it. To parlay a little bit from, a classic movie, Uncle Buck. This is kind of early on in the film, but the mom says, I think we've all just had enough of the act. And collectively, societally, culturally, I think we've all had enough of the act. Okay? So, yeah, there's a whole lot of black fatigue, and I think it runs on the black side and the white side. There's a lot of wonderful black people that have had it up to their eyeballs with the same nonsense that makes everyone look like a buffoon. Just facts, folks. Take them as you will. So, yeah, there's a lot of that fatigue going on. I'm not even going to get into the obvious stuff where the black kid stabbed some kid to death a couple weeks back. And, oh, my gosh, then there's the notorious playground incident. Ooh, where some white chick, again, and her baby out there, she's had enough of this BS, too. And she just utters a special word. Oh, nobody can say the word. I'm tearing. Anyway, so, yeah, the fatigue is assuredly real. It's on all colors, folks. I guarantee you. There's a whole lot of people with a whole lot more melanin than me that I listen to, follow it, and really admire their work. And they're fatigued up to their eyeballs, folks. I promise. And I won't even say anything about people in my friend circle. But yeah, fatigue is real, folks. Let's get into the real deal, Holyfield, the lie fatigue, because that's the bigger issue. I think a lot of this other mess is just the media wanting people to be divided and wanting to pit one group against the other. That's always the way it is, folks. Do you think for one solitary minute that the incident with the woman out there yelling at some stupid kid would have made any publicity if it was the inverse? Please. No. It wouldn't, folks. It just wouldn't. Do you think any of these big triggering issues would have gotten any of the publicity and traction that they garnered if it weren't to divide the populace? You see, the last thing on earth, the proverbial they, the upper tier puppeteers, who are they? Yeah. The last thing they want is for the populace of Los Estados Unidos to actually figure out that there's a hand under this puppet, there's a hand under that puppet. There's a great montage put together with Bill Hicks explaining just that. So do you think they actually want you to figure out that your enemy is not some person with less or more melanin? It's the actual scumbags targeting us all? No. So they're going to keep rising up with these silly divisive narratives and these clips to everybody. Oh, good, just nasty. Ooh, ooh. And it's only going to get worse as the summer goes on, folks. We ain't even hit 90 degrees yet here in the horrible, hot, satanic bleep pit of NC. We're hitting 90 today for the first time. It's going to be nauseating outside, which is why I'm inside. But as the heat rises, the heat's also going to rise with the social and cultural tumult. So get ready for it. That's what's coming down, right? All right. That's not really the reason you came here, because you wanted to come here and you wanted to talk about all this other malarkey. Yeah, you wanted to talk about the lie fatigue that is left, right, center, and otherwise 8 days a week and twice on Sunday on every social media platform. So let's roll down some of these hilarities in the lie fatigue category, because there are so many. I got to tell you, I get a little tired. So what we hear, I don't know which way you want to go with this, folks. Let's go back in time to some of the obvious lies that just keep getting thrown out there. And nothing's going to happen. That's what I keep telling people. Nothing's going to happen. There's no sealed indictments. I mean, we could go back. It's sad. It's almost 10 years now, I believe, since we started hearing this. Trust the plan. Q's got it. Autist. That was my favorite word of the last 5 years. Autist. These autists have figured out these clues. You see, if you hold this image backwards and you turn it sideways and you play the record on this certain speed at this certain temper backwards and sideways. I mean, this whole thing is just so beyond the pale that people are buying into it and falling for it and seeing stuff. And, oh, look, it's JFK and RFK. And so exhausting. But that's what I put on the screen here on this image. You can't see it perhaps in this version, but it says, a storm is coming. That's the big horse pucky we heard for the last almost 10 years now. A storm is coming. Yeah, when Trump first got in office, a storm is coming. And then it showed all these political boobs with these envelopes. And, oh, my God, that's the sealed indictments. They're really in Guantanamo, and they're not even real. And these are just aliens, and these are hybrids, and these are clones. And, man, it just gets so exhausting. It does. And then the files released. How many files have we had released, allegedly? We got the JFK files. Allegedly, they've been released. I haven't heard a blipping word to really substantiate or negate anything that we didn't already know 50 blipping years ago. We got the MLK files released. Oh, whoop-de-doo. I wish I had one of those little party things. Spin that around. And maybe the RFK files will be released. The John Wilkes Booth files will be released. What about can we get more information on Pearl Harbor to actually prove that it was a bunch of hooey too? I mean, at the end of the day, what does it all really garner you? What does it get you, folks? The alien files, or we've got disclosure. It's going to be released, John. Don't worry. It's coming true. The storm is coming. It's file release, file drop. The autists are looking at it right now to tell me what's really going to happen. And I'll tell you what's really going to happen, folks. Not a flipping thing, okay? Let me break it for you. Breaking on the AnomicAge. What's going to happen is nothing. Nada. Zip, zero, butt kiss. Nothing. Okay? I just broke it for you right here now on this show. Nothing. Nothing's going to happen, folks. The Clintons, have got more confirmed kills than some sort of expert assassin, The Clintons got more people dead to rights than Lon Haruchi. You know what I'm saying here, folks? Anything going to happen to them? No. Nothing. Anthony Weiner laptop, Uma Abedin, anything going to happen to these people? Nothing. No. Who we got? The latest stooge de jour. We got Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. My goodness, man. I gotta tell you, man, I'm not one to just talk smack and talk bad about people based on looks, because I realize that is very shallow into the pool, and it's something I'm really trying to rise above. You got to rise above, you know what I'm talking about, a little black flag. But I swear, folks, if you look at a lot of these people, this is something I believe that societally they have tried to train out of us, because there's a whole lot to just looking at somebody and getting that vibe right away and going, yeah, man, this ain't kosher. This ain't on the up and up. This ain't legit. This ain't square. They've gotten us out of that because they've said this nonsense of this biblical nonsense of don't judge anybody and don't judge a book by its cover and don't be myopic and don't be racist and don't be prejudiced and don't say that they can't do something because they're black or white or a boy or a girl or an Indian too. You know, we are the world, all this horse manure that they have indoctrinated at least 2 generations into. Ironically enough, this is around the same time that they've started banning words and saying, you said something, I can't say it. You know. So I really do believe that there's an orchestrated attack on just plain old looking at something and going, yeah, that's a dirt pile over there. You know what I mean? Because they don't want us to use our discernment. They don't want us to size someone up within seconds. You know what I'm saying? And I've told other people this, and they always give me that same pushback. You know, the same one that I just delivered to you. But call me the bad guy if you want to. You know, the old thing from Scarface. Say hello to the bad guy. That's fine. But I'm here to tell you, I can size up a room and certainly an individual within seconds. I can pretty much 99% accuracy tell you that this person is going to be a piece of refuse, that they're not trustworthy, that they're dangerous, that they're trying to be something they're not, that they're trying to manipulate the room, that they're trying to be mock alphas and do that big strut around. They got the big truck and the balls on the back, and they're wearing their tight T-shirts and their affliction gear and their bedazzled jeans. You know, that might be a little bit of a dated reference, but I think you get the picture, folks. I can size up that sort of mess in seconds. So I don't need to know these people personally. I don't need to have their full bona fides in front of me and sift through redacted files and praise and accolades. I don't need any of that, man. I'm sorry, I just don't. But if I'm looking at Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and certainly Pam Bondi, you know, you could put perfume on the pig, but it's still just what it is, honey. It's what's up. Can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. I'm sorry, you just can't. So I can look at all these people and put on my proverbial they live glasses and see what's up real quick. They're not trustworthy. They're full of prunes at best. They're compromised at worst. And I guarantee you ain't getting anywhere with any of these bozos as far as any sort of indictments or arrests or... what we should be getting is executions after a trial conviction. You ain't getting none of that from these people. I'm telling you, folks. You got Kash Patel and Bongino going on TV a couple days ago talking about Jeffrey Epstein clearly killed himself. What? You got Bondi sitting on these stupid files for God knows how long. Whatever these files are, they were supposed to get the release of the Epstein files and whatever. I mean, didn't we get that mess like 5 years ago? Thought we did. So, that's my take on it, folks. You ain't getting nowhere. There's no storm coming any files released are just going to be files released. Who really gives a rat's patoot? It's going to be either too redacted to care, or more to the point, it could have the smoking gun and everything sealed and delivered in a nice envelope with Polaroids attached, and nothing's still going to happen. Nothing, folks. It's the laugh. It's hysterical. Because you can't talk about Epstein without talking about Bill Barr and his dad. You can't talk about Epstein getting arrested and going to prison unless you actually float out there that who the clients were. Who was going on these sescapades, if you will. Who was going on the island? What was going down? Who were they doing? What were they doing it to? Where's the files? Where's the photographs? Anthony Weiner laptop still ain't released. Still ain't in jail. Still just a bunch of hilarious mess. Or at least it would be hilarious if it weren't so darn true. It's disgusting, folks. It really is. So that's kind of how I see this thing. It's a big nothing burger. It's a big nothing burger. You want to talk about nothing burgers? We got to talk about James Comey. This big pile of nothing. I mean, this guy should have already been arrested on the litany of atrocities from the last 10 years. He's still rocking around free as a bird just like Bill and Hills. Just like Big Mike and Barry. And people, this is the funniest part of it all, folks. He's done so much egregious actions that should have landed him at the very least in a facility. But nobody seems to give a rat's patoot about that. What really has shaken people's snow globes is this buffoon posting next to some stupid seashells saying 8647. Ooh. That's really what's got the fur raised on everybody. It's really hilarious, man. And then you got some similar mess from Whitmer. Remember this scumbag from a few years back? She's still around. Whitmer posting similar numerical drops. I guess the Q drops and the autist picked all this up. So, man, that's what's so fouled up, man, is this sickening Q garbage has somehow like infiltrated everyone. So now everyone's looking for numbers and clues and hand signals and covered eyes and everything. And a lot of that's 100% legit and real. Don't get me wrong, folks. Please don't get me wrong. It's quite clear that so much of this is obvious cult and occult symbols. But, you know, I'm not even negating the Whitmer stuff nor this Comey mess. I just think it's comical that out of all the stuff that's like shaking everybody's snow globe in the last 72 hours plus, you know, it's like, oh my gosh. You know, like this known criminal scumbags posting secret messages about killing Trump. I mean, he could get on the frickin' CNN and call for Trump's death like some of these other scumbags have done. Who cares? Nothing's going to happen to these people, folks. These people are like 6 degrees beyond Teflon Don, all right? Nothing shall happen to these morons. Nothing. And while we're worried about that, this is even more hilarious. I just found this right before I went live here. I had to put it on the screen. Why we're worried about that? CNN's posting this kind of retardation. CNN, have you ever noticed the popularity of white robots? Oh my gosh. Not robots blancos. Ooh. The reason for these shades of technological white may be racism. I knew it. According to new research. That's it. That's why the robots are white, because everybody's a racist. That's right. Now imagine spray painting the robots black. This is from Ken. Now imagine spraying the robots black. CNN headlines become owning black robots may be a sign of being pro-slavery. So true, Ken. So true. It's just downright funny to me that this is the stuff we're getting as reality. This is the stuff we're getting as big news. Big news is white robots. Big news is seashells on the sand. big news is Patel and Bongino, saying the sky is orange or something. I mean, that's like the level of gaslighting that we're hit with, and the level of just sheer division, psychological warfare, cultural warfare, the cultural Marxism thing, all these things like just interwoven into this big tapestry of turds. It's just comedy. It's really silly. So, I mean, I just ran down some of the biggest headlines in the last few weeks. Not because I didn't want to, I didn't want to cover these things a couple weeks ago when some of this broke. I just thought it was so beyond the pale and stupid. But I guess like the people are still running with it. Like they're still running with the stick of just stupidity. They're still running with the stick that, the files are going to drop and stuff's going to happen and people are going to jail and the storm's coming, man. Like there's still those people. And it's really just bizarre to navigate the intellectual minefield of life. I'll just go all the way on this one. It's so difficult to navigate the intellectual minefield of life. Because if you have even a baseline pulse of what's going on, there's like that level. Okay, baseline that most of this is just horse pucky. So you can probably navigate around like the mainstream Fox News kind of baby boomer generation that believes the red, white, and blue is going to save the day and all that stuff. So if you just have that baseline, you can navigate those situations fairly well. But then if you pull the curtain back more and more and more, it leaves you even more isolated, and it leaves you in these quandaries anytime you interact with the humans, which is really like, how much do I want to further isolate myself? How big of a fool do I want to look like by telling people the truth? Because most people are just so beyond the pale stupid, they can't deal with the truth. So you start telling them basic facts, and they just can't compute. I non sequitur. Don't tell me anymore. I don't want to know. There's that whole line. It's just so bizarre, man. So I understand why people self-isolate, especially like myself, because there's no point. Like, what's the point in going around other people, doing the social settings and the parties and the functions and all that stuff, and into the night telling people the truth and having people go, oh, what? Having people like to your face, I don't really believe 9/11 was an inside job, but and I just go, I do. Have you looked at anything like pertaining to that at all? I kind of wonder about the COVID vaccine, but me and the kids are still getting the flu shot tomorrow. Like, what? Are you sure that's a good idea? Like, I think RFK Jr. is kind of crazy with all this dye limitations and poison food stuff. Like, have you even done this? The cursory internet search about links and brain damage and hyperactivity and the colors that are put in all the foods. Have you looked into that just at all? Like just a little bit? Because we're at the point now where you don't have to research this stuff and get on some message board a la 1994 or something and really go hardcore researcher mode to figure this stuff out. It's not that complicated anymore. It's really not. So when you do interact with people, it's just such a quandary. It's like, it's the it's the lies fatigue, folks. It's the lies fatigue. I just get fatigue not only from the black fatigue and the white fatigue and all this BS that they promulgate, not only from the obvious lies in the mainstream media and the alternative media too. All just BS for the most part, just lies. People like putting the carrot in front of the donkey, like, well, sooner or later something's going to happen. Sooner or later something's going to happen. If you just raise up and send me some money and buy me some blue water or whatever, it's all going to change. So I get fatigue from all that, but it's also just lies fatigue because any interaction with 99% of the populace is such a like hammer to the forehead because you have to deal with people that are on such an intellectual subset of just room temperature, mildly retarded people that just can't handle anything. So you telling them the truth, they're going through like some sort of, well, this guy's crazy. He's talking about there's poison in the food. He believes in them chemtrails. Like, did you look outside today? Like the sky is like straight edge revenge out there. It's X's everywhere, folks. So you've either got to go along with the lies, pretend to not know about the lies, or try to break people free from the lies. All three endeavors give you lies fatigue. It's really what's up, folks. So if you just go along with it, you're dealing with your own intellectual lies fatigue, and I think you're probably self-cancering yourself, okay? If you pretend to not know about any of it, again, you're self-cancering yourself. You're giving yourself lie fatigue because you're trying to pretend you don't know what's really going on. And then if you go all the way to step 3 and you try to awaken people from their own lies, then that's lies fatigue too. It's exhausting trying to deprogram the true believers out there. It really is. Right, left, center, whatever. It's just so exhausting. It really is. Which is why I take big breaks in this show from time to time. It really is. It's why I definitely stay away from people. It's why I'm no fun at parties. I don't drink, don't smoke. I'm just the guy in the corner going, how much of the truth should I really tell them? You just end up playing on your phone, just looking out the window, thinking, man, I wish I weren't here. I hope no one asks me anything that I'm going to have to actually go through those 3 phases. Pretend I don't know anything about it. Don't say anything about it or try to deprogram these mind slave victims. You know what I mean? It's weird out there, man. I know I've gone over time. Let's deal with it. By the way, I've taken the live versions of this show I'm sorry, that's not the right terminology. I'm not going live on Facebook or YouTube anymore. I'm going to go with Twitch and DLive. I don't know. Because Facebook and YouTube are a joke. I've come to the realization that even though the YouTube giblet heads took down my channel 3+ years ago, wouldn't give it back to me, and had to go through this neurotic process of getting another channel name and going back on the YouTube and blah, blah, blah. They obviously know it's me because they won't let anyone actually see, comment, or interact on any of my content. So why bother? I think I might put some shorts on YouTube if I find the time, but so much of life has become an energy conservation exercise. So if I see things as being an utter waste of my stinking time, I'm just not going to play on those fields anymore. So what's the point of being on Facebook or YouTube when it's just an exercise in futility? Let me just throw some content out at other arenas and see how that works. That being said, paypal.me/AnomicAge, patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. AnomicAge.com is where you can find all things me, way more shows than you're ever going to find on DLive or Twitch or certainly YouTube. So check me out there. Like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Get out there, do your part, make a difference. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the AnomicAge.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.
Thank you.